Solve the riddle while we sit and watch. Written by Gingers_ha. Read by The Viridian Ghost. Chapter 5. A Swinging Spider. Spider-Man. Scott? Kat exclaimed in surprise. The man waved, excitingly walking over to the group. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Can't stay for long. He apologized, rubbing the back of his neck nervously. As the group began to ask questions, Tony stood up and walked over to the confused but happy heroes. Glad you could make it, Lang, Tony welcomed, clearing his throat as he stole the attention of the room. I thought that we might as well get everyone back, so I invited him over for some drinks, Tony explained in response to the questioning glances he received. Oh, cool, was all that was said, before anyone engaged in conversation with the newly appointed hero, catching up with him. While the team chattered to the man, Peter slid away out of the room without being noticed or questioned, as planned. So how have you been? Clint asked, re-entering the room after leaving to grab some beers. Scott then went on to explain everything that had happened over the past months, in grand detail, only stopping when somebody's phone began to ring. All heads turned to see Stark's phone violently vibrating with "This song is awesome" playing as his ringtone. I lost a bet, he mumbled to Clint, referring to his ringtone as he answered the call. The man smirked, taking a sip from the tall green bottle in his hand, and some muffled speaking came from the other side of the phone, the man's face turning from slight embarrassment to a smile. After a few short moments, the man hung up and placed his phone down. Well, guys, you're in luck. Turns out Spider-Man is in town and stopping by the tower, he announced, a couple of heads turning as he spoke. Spider-Man? The guy from Germany? Cool, Scott commented excitedly. And sure enough, it wasn't long before Friday alerted the room that there was an incoming figure headed straight towards the window. The window? Can he come through the door? Cap asked, slightly tapping the top of his bottle as a way to open it. Well, security isn't the biggest fan of him. We've had people try and dress up as him and come through the doors before, so he just uses the windows. Plus, he claims it's more fun. The man sighed, shrugging his shoulders. Shouldn't you open the window? Wanda asked as she watched a blurry figure get closer and closer to the window. Nah, he'll be fine, Tony answered, waving off the question as he turned to the window in amusement. And as the body got closer to the window, they still showed no indication of opening the window for them. But at the very last second, the window slightly opened. Spider-Man went flying through the window, only briefly missing the team as he tumbled to the ground. Tony cackled as the young hero groaned and stood up stretching. That's just rude, Tony, he sighed, rolling his mask up to the bridge of his nose, with a smile on his face, to be visible. His accent did sound a lot stronger and his tone lower than Peter's did, the team considered. Yeah, sorry, can't help myself, Tony laughed, clasping his hands on the spider's shoulder. You remember the team, right? He asked, gesturing towards the crowd of people staring at them. Oh, yeah. Hey, sorry about sliding against you guys in Germany. Wasn't personal, Peter said, shaking hands with a couple of heroes with confidence, so contrasting to his usual self that the group started to second-guess themselves. We know, don't worry, kid, Cap assured him, waving off the unexpected apology. And sorry for sending you flying, Scott piped up, awkwardly. Peter smiled, careful not to do so wide enough for it to force his mask to curl any higher. Don't worry about that, man. It was super cool, Peter exclaimed, taking a seat on the sofa. A couple of people exchanged glances, which Peter opted to ignore out of politeness. So, Spider-Man, how old are you? Wanda asked, smiling warmly at the masked vigilante. Peter glanced over to Tony, who mouthed the words, 18. I'm 18, turned 19 this August, he explained, subtly attempting to make his voice lower. What college do you go to? Natasha interrogated, set on finding a crack in his tale. Oh, I go to MIT. It's super cool, he replied without hesitation, having practiced his answers to potential questions in his head as he changed into the suit. Wow, MIT, you must be smart, Sam nodded, raising an eyebrow. Yeah, I guess, Peter mumbled, taken aback by the sort of compliments. He's annoyingly smart, and a little know-it-all, Stark teased, flicking the lid of his bottle at the hero, who caught it without having to blink. So you must get along well with Peter, Sam questioned, curiously eating into him. Peter? The boy echoed, his frown hopefully making him seem confused at the name. Oh, right, yeah. Tony's intern. I don't come here very often anymore because of school, but from our few meetings, he seems cool, he claimed, his head spinning at the craziness of the situation. It was insane. He wasn't sure how long he could keep it up with the lies and the facade up. The group, who seemed satisfied with all the responses being genuine, began to think that they had been incorrect. So, if we can ask, why do you keep yourself a secret? Does Tony, Stark know who you are? Scott asked, intrigued. Peter sat back, taking a moment to think of an idea of what would seem believable. In the end, he used the true answer. To protect my family and myself. I wouldn't be able to go to school, get hired, walk in public, or anything. Neither could the people I care about. Impressed, the group went on to ask him about other stuff. You want a beer, Spidey? Clint asked, tossing a bottle over to the still masked man. Despite having still caught the bottle, the boy wasn't sure how to react. Did you just call him Spidey? Tony laughed, hoping to switch the subject. But when all he did was return with a shrug and a few laughs, he bit down on his lip. He's not allowed to drink and swing, the man piped up, cutting Peter off before the kid had a chance to use some crappy excuse. Fine, Dad, he sighed, hoping to hide his extent of his relief. Peter set down the beer, looking up at a round clock on the wall, quickly rolling down his mask to cover the entirety of his face. Sorry, but I really have to go. Me and my friends have some plans later, and I really can't be late again. He apologized, excusing himself as he shook a couple hands and waved to a few people. It's the summer. You should stop by again, Kat proposed, both bummed at their failure at their theory, yet also excited to get to know the person he had fought against the time that felt oh so long ago. Yeah, sure, the hero agreed, backing up towards the window and leaping backwards. A couple people gasped in surprise as they saw the hero swing between buildings, disappearing into the distance. Forgetting all about their theory of Spider-Man's true identity, the team began to reminisce about old memories and stories of their past battles. Steve cooked a glorious feast while the group drank and laughed, washing away all the hard memories and replacing it with nothing but the current moment. Retreated back into his room, excitement exploded within seconds of the door closing. Pulling off his mask, Peter jumped up and down in elation. Oh my god, no way. That worked? How did that work? He squealed in excitement, bouncing onto the ceiling as he started to pace up and down the ceiling, bubbling with glee. He ran a hand through his hair. After waiting a couple moments, the door creaked open. Peter dropped from the ceiling onto his feet. Tony stepped through, smiling with excitement that matched the teenagers. It was a rare occasion for something like this to take place. Dude, they were totally clueless, he exclaimed, trying his best to whisper. Stark laughed, scratching his chin in disbelief. I can't believe it. I really can't. And by the way, don't call me dude, he agreed, grinning proudly. The two of them giddily chatted about how glad they were that it worked, and what to do when a small sound at the vents caught their attention. After a bit of ruffling coming from above, Peter hopped onto the vents and ripped them out, squealing in shock as a group of people fell out of them. The fricking Avengers tumbled to the ground, falling onto a lump of heroes. And, lo and behold, Peter Parker was wearing his Spider-Man suit, stood on the ceiling as the group stood awkwardly up, their faces red with embarrassment as they stared at the ceiling. Oh, crap. And that was the 5th and final chapter of Solve the Riddle While We Sit and Watch by Gingers_ha. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll probably be doing more fics that have multiple chapters since this was quite fun to record. If you have any recommendations for what I should read next, whether that be a fandom I should read from or an individual fic, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Anyway, sorry about the birds in the background that you might hear throughout this. I'm too lazy to re-record it, so who knows what you'll hear. But this is the Viridian Ghost signing off. See you guys next time.